Okay. Welcome back to Indomitable Conversations, our ongoing series dedicated to exploring the incredible stories of resilience in overcoming the foster care system. I'm Di Ciruolo, author of Indomitable, a foster care story, and I am genuinely thrilled to have you here with us for our fourth session. Today, we continue our exploration of the indomitable spirit that resides within those who have navigated the foster care system. Our guest today brings a unique perspective and an inspiring story that underscores the beauty and strength that can grow from adversity. If you haven't already, consider picking up a copy of Indomitable, a foster care story. Your support not only fuels my ability to advocate, but also contributes to our collective awareness of improving the foster care system. Thank you for joining us in community, and let's continue our collective awareness. Today's guest speaker is the Indomitable Rob Scheer. Rob is the founder of Comfort Cases, a charity that's mission is to inspire communities to bring dignity and hope to foster care youth in every state in the United States, Washington, D.C., Puerto Rico, and the United Kingdom. Comfort Cases has been featured on The Ellen Show, The Today Show, The View, and NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt, just to name a few. In 2017, an Upworthy video featuring Comfort Cases received over 150 million views, and in 2018, Rob was named one of CNN's heroes. That's incredible. Rob and his husband, Reece, are also featured in Bryce Dallas Howard's documentary film Dads on AppleTV, which was completely incredible, and I cried my heart out. Rob, thank you for joining me here today. I am so grateful to have you.
Wow. You know, when I hear people say things like what you just said, it's just like, wow. You know, at the end of the day, I remember as a young boy in the foster care system, I'll never forget it. Never forget it. The only thing I ever wanted to be was a dad.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yes.
And to hear you say all of those things, you know, I've been a successful banker.
Mm-hmm.
I'm you know, an author with a #1 book. No, a dad. Yeah. And to hear you say those things, it's just like my kids. I think about my 5 children, and I'm just like, wow. Thank you, my friend, for having me.
Oh my God, I'm so excited to talk to you. So I want to start you right off here. The most important question I have to ask you comes from my children to your children. So we watched Dads, which was completely amazing. I loved it. As I said, cried my eyes out. Their question is, did y'all get that llama? Did you get a llama or an alpaca?
So Bryce, I was just actually talking with Bryce the other day.
Yeah.
And, you know, first of all, to be chosen, there were thousands of families that were, you know, submitted, all that. And I will never forget, I have to tell you the story, how we were chosen. So my husband and I, and at that time we only had 4 kids. We hadn't had our 5th child. And we were on vacation. And my manager called me and she was like, we need to do a Zoom. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, you know, I travel, like last year I traveled 189 nights in hotels. And I was like, I'm so tired. This is our family vacation. She's like, no, you have to do this. You have to do this Zoom.
Right.
So I said, fine. She's like, you have to make sure Reece is with you. And I was like, fine. So we were in our house that we had rented in the Outer Banks. And we're sitting there. We pull up the Zoom. We're sitting there. And all of a sudden the Zoom. And here comes Bryce. Mind you, I knew who she was.
Obviously.
Okay. And she's just like, hey. And she's like, I have read your book, followed your family for so long. Oh. She's like, and I just want to say, I think everybody needs to know about you. Oh, and I remember that moment, and I just was like, you know what? Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You need to know about 2 amazing parents.
Yes.
I want to say this again. 2 amazing parents. You can look at us and say dads, gay, whatever. No, 2 parents who have 4 kids from the system who wanted to see how we thrive.
Yes.
How we thrive, Di.
Yes.
That was the most important thing. So, yeah, that was amazing. And by the way, stay tuned. In November, you all get to watch. I was so unbelievably, liked shining on, the Harlem Globetrotters who came and spent the day with my family and my thing. It's going to be in November. It's like the Saturday before National Adoption Awareness Month.
Yes.
Yeah, we did with so yeah, our book has been somebody touched our book and said, I'm going to make a movie about that.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That is so amazing. I love the Harlem Globetrotters. Like, oh my God. I am such an 80s baby. I am like, oh my God.
You and me both.
Oh my God. You just said
I
magic.
always said, I remember waking up on Saturday mornings and like be like, oh, the cartoon. And they all came and they played football at my farm and at our national center at Comfort Cases.
Oh my God. I would have been stunned into, like, I would have been squeeing. Like,
Basketball is a thing, my friend. Basketball is a thing.
Oh my God. So I interviewed Sherelle Starr on Thursday.
Oh my God.
I know.
Love her.
So
I'm telling you something. I say this all the time. Good humans.
Yes.
Good humans.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she is, oh my gosh, a good human. You can smell good humans. You can touch good humans. You can feel good.
Yes.
She's it. She's it.
Yep, she absolutely is. So I was researching her on YouTube to get some prep questions, and I saw her on your podcast, and I sat down and watched the whole thing, and I was like, well, hello, future friends. And I was so excited to see you both. Oh my God, I was so excited. And she was dying laughing when I told her that story, so I had to tell you. So before I get us too off track here, I don't want to assume the audience or anybody watching later knows your story already. So if you just want to fill us in a tiny bit, that would be amazing.
Sure. You know, I was the statistic. Yes. You know, you have to realize that as we sit here today, you and I talk, we will see almost 30,000 kids age out of foster care.
Yes.
The saddest part is that 70% of those kids will be homeless. Homeless, just like me.
Just like
I walked into the system at the age of 12, the youngest of 10 kids, carrying a trash bag up to a home that I thought really wanted me. Yes. Gosh, I thought they really wanted me.
Yes.
And for years, I thought they did. Mm-hmm. And even though I never saw my picture on the mantle, I never remember a birthday cake. Mm-hmm. I never remember a vacation. I just felt like that was a home.
Right.
And in 1985, I actually graduated from high school. I was 18 years old. And instead of you hugging me, like what you should have done as a community, mm-hmm. you handed me a trash bag. Mm-hmm. And I became homeless.
Yeah.
I literally lived on the streets, just like so many children within our system. And I want your listeners and watchers to know, you all have to understand something. Kids in our foster care system, they arrive because of a choice someone else made. Understand that. Just think about it. They arrive because of a choice someone else made. Wow. We as a society have to understand that children deserve to have better. And I didn't. I lived on the streets for an entire year, never thinking that my life would amount to anything. Youngest of 10 kids. Mm-hmm. See, you have to realize we as a community, we have given children in foster care only 3 choices. That's it. Whether you want to accept it or not, we have been given 3 choices. Number 1, give up.
Yes.
Give up. As you sit here and watch this and listen to this today, suicide rate in foster care is higher for children of the ages ever we have seen. Ever. Number 2, give in. Give in. You want to know where your dollars are given? Your dollars are given to the 80% of people that are in prison right now, death row, foster care. They have been touched. They have been in foster care. Number 3, give it all you got. Nelson Mandela said it, and he said it prouder than anything I've ever said in my life, and I want it tattooed on my chest. You judge your community by the way you treat your children. Listen to that. By the way you treat your children. How do you treat the children within our foster care system? For me, my friend, I gave it all I got. I joined the United States Navy. I became one of the most successful businessmen throughout our country. I built banks throughout our country from the West Coast to the East Coast. But I never told you that I was a kid who ate out of a trash can because the foster care system failed me.
I'm just taking a second for all of that to settle. So, why do you think that people need to believe that kids that are in foster care somehow contributed to their own tragic circumstances?
They didn't, by the way.
Of course they didn't. Why do you think they think that?
It's a myth. It's a myth. The myth is why did they end there because of what they did? We have to realize that they ended there because of a choice someone else made.
Yes.
A choice someone has made. And the moment that choice was made, we have to be there for the foundation. You have to understand, the foundation of our society is built by the backs of our children.
Yes.
And if we do not make that back strong, then what is our society about? Seriously. I mean, I say this all the time. I'm a successful banker. I could have easily, I didn't give a crap. I could have easily just lived my life, adopt my 4 children out of foster care. They all had passports. They go to private schools. Why did I stop? Because we as a society have to be educated that children in our system are not bad.
Yes.
They're not bad. They are being delivered a package that they didn't ask for. So we have to support them. And you know what? I have to tell you this. I've heard this so many times, and I'm so sick of it. And I get more hate mail than you could ever imagine. Do not invest in a child. Do not. Because you're wrong when you say, I invest in a child, I invest in their future. That is bullshit.
Yes. You
invest in a child, you invest in your future.
That's right.
Your future. Why? They are our leaders of tomorrow. Think about that.
Absolutely.
Think about that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't invest in a child and you invest in their future. No. You invest in a child because they are our leaders of tomorrow. And people come to me and they say, why would you say something like that? I was like, because they're my leaders. They're my senators. They're my congresspeople. They're my presidents.
Yes.
That is how we make society better.
Do you think they think that of us? Do you think that they think we're capable of those things, or do you think they think that we are just prison fodder, as it were?
No. We are disposable.
That's right.
Disposable.
Right.
We are the children that don't matter.
Right.
We are the children that are the statistics that fill your penitentiaries. We are the children that make tomorrow, actually, by your trafficking. And by the way, until we come together, and I'm going to say this right now.
Please.
There are so many nonprofits out there They stand alone. They say they're changing the pendulum. I am 56 years old. I have lived this life. I have walked this life.
Right.
I do not see that pendulum changing because we do not come together. Come together, we will change it. We will move it. But until then, we are your forgotten children.
That's absolutely right. I always tell people that if we wanted to change it, we could have changed it by now.
Yes.
If we wanted to change it, we would be studying it. If we wanted to change it, we would be investing in it. But
Yes.
since we're doing none of those things, that tells me, who has gotten away from this, and the rest of us that are still stagnating in the system, that people don't care, and they haven't cared, and they will potentially never care.
But you have to admit, and you've seen it, and you and I both, and I followed you, I know you, I've watched you. You have to admit, I see these nonprofits, these organizations who have sucked up so much money, and they say they're going to make change. And by the way, first thing you do, pick the low-hanging fruit. When you pick the low-hanging fruit, the tree grows taller. What I've seen, I've seen money dropped in to organizations and nothing has changed.
Yes.
And I'm sorry to say that. And I know let me tell you something. If I could like share with your listeners and your viewers the number of hate emails, because by the way, I don't need your money. I don't need your money.
Nope.
What I need is you to change a child's life.
Okay.
I don't need your $125,000 executive assistant
Yep.
for you to say that you're going to do it. I need a child's life to change.
Yes.
And that's what I'm seeing. And by the way, I am the most probably, and I hate to say this, disliked person in the foster care arena. Isn't that crazy? Wow. Number one podcast. The most disliked person. Let me tell you why, my friend. I don't take this. I don't allow people to sit here and do this. I want to call people out to say, hey, where are you moving the needle? Right. I'm tired of talking about it.
Right.
I'm tired of talking about, we're going to like plan a change. We're going to make it. No. Where's the change?
Where's the change?
I literally went and visited 4 young girls in Alabama sleeping in an office. 4 teenage girls. You know what my team did? We sent them towels. They had one towel. They had one towel. And my team sent them towels. My team sent them hygiene kits. My team sent me to sit. Where is the change? Where's the change? I saw a nonprofit literally get $1.6 million from the government. Where's the change? I met 2 young girls, my friend, in Tampa, in a group home. We brought them comfort cases. I sat on the floor next to them. No cameras. I don't need your cameras. I don't need your PR. I don't care about your PR. But I sat next to them. I asked a 10-year-old little girl. I said, what's your favorite thing in the case? Mind you, there's blankets and stuffies and activities. And she pulled out a toothbrush. She said, Mr. Rob, my toothbrush. I said, baby, your toothbrush? That's your favorite thing? She said, I've been in this group home for a month. My sister and I have been sharing the same toothbrush. How dare us? How dare us? Yep. You take thousands and millions of dollars from a federal government, and we have kids in And by the way, you don't want to call them group homes anymore. Fine, call them whatever you want to.
Right.
They are using the same toothbrush because they're sisters. And by the way, Di, when I asked the executive director why this is what her exact words to me were. Well, why didn't they tell me? Wow. Why didn't they tell me? 9 and 10 years old. And you want to tell me the system is not shattered?
Right. Absolutely. So you talked a little bit about your organization, Comfort Cases. Tell us about what you do and who you do it for.
You know what? The fact is I never in a million years. I was a successful banker, had adopted 4 amazing kids at that particular moment out of the system, grew up in the system, aged out of the system, homeless in the system, didn't give less about the system.
Right.
Until my kids arrived carrying trash bags, just like I carried. And I thought to myself, how could this be?
How could this still be?
How? After all, I came into the system in 1979, carried a trash bag. My children arrived in my home in the 2000s, carried a trash bag. I remember looking at my husband and saying, how could this be? We are so successful. We're so well off. And he said, what do you want to do? I said, I wanted to eliminate trash bags in DC. Only DC. We lived in the District of Columbia. And he said, you really think this is something you could do? And I said, we can. So we grabbed a backpack. We threw a brand new pair of pajamas. We grabbed new lotion, shampoo, conditioner bar, soap, toothbrush, toothpaste. We grabbed an activity, a blankie, a book, a stuffed animal, and we packed over 300 cases. And I remember looking at my children, my 4 amazing, beautiful babies, and I remember looking at them and realizing, I hope to this day, the day that we packed our cases, that I taught them that your legacy is about what you give and not about what you take. I didn't think anything else about that, by the way, Di. It happened. Little would I know that almost 11 years later, because of that one moment, that moment of empathy, the empathy that you all have to understand, you are not born with it. And by the way, my friends, it is not in your DNA. It is taught. It is taught. And I realized that I had taught my kids that day. My kids from the system, me from the system. My organization, comfortcases.org, we have packed and delivered over 220,000 backpacks to all 50 states, DC and Puerto Rico. And by the way, all you smart people who are watching and listening, Puerto Rico belongs to us.
Yes.
Yes, it is surrounded by water, but so is Hawaii.
So is Hawaii.
See, the fact is, our forefathers, they only built communities for one reason, and that was for us to take care of each other. Not for us to live in these big houses with the fancy bushes that match. And to understand that your community is not your zip code, it's our human race.
Yes.
You know?
Absolutely.
Di, the thing that I hope the most out of all this, and I don't care how many podcasts I've been on, or how many TV shows I've done, or books I've written, this is what I hope. I have 5 kids now. Just adopted our oldest child.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But I want my kids to know something. We, as a collective group of humans, have to make sure that every person realizes they have a place at the table. At the table.
Yes.
And if the table is not big enough, you build it bigger.
You build it bigger. Yep. They are worthy, and it is their right to be there. They are already worthy just because they're human, just because they're here. Yes, exactly. You don't need to earn it. You don't need to be born to some amazing family. You can just exist and be worthy.
Breathe.
You are absolutely right. Whew. Yes. So remind me, I think today is Fetal Alcohol Syndrome Awareness Day.
It is.
So I wanted to give us...
Did you know that, by the way?
I learned it from you.
Because I did not know that. I did not know that.
No, I follow you, and I learned it from you. And because my middle half-brother was born, as you know, from the book, with fetal alcohol syndrome. Yep.
By the way, I want people to know. Can you give the title of your book again? Everybody that's listening, because I know you're listening in. Yes. We posted it on social media. Please listen. I read this book. I was on a plane coming back from LA. I never have read a book so fast. Yeah. I'm going to have to tell you. Wow.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow.
I'm so grateful. Thank you for reading it.
The fact that, and by the way, for all of you that follow me, and there's going to be a post in the next week, there are books that move me. And there's books that I have to be like, oh, you're on my podcast. But I'm going to be on my podcast in the next several weeks.
I am going to be on your podcast.
And by the way, I get literally 10 to 15 books a week. That book was a book that just, yeah. But fetal alcohol syndrome.
Yes.
People don't realize it. They don't realize it. Nope. Do you realize that today, as we sit here and talk, number one, the number one country in our world that has the highest fetal alcohol syndrome is South Africa. And that was sad to hear. The fact that we look at the United States of America and we have about 4% of children with fetal alcohol syndrome. The fact that nobody talks about FAST.
Yes.
I have a son. The most amazing gift I ever was given was my son. I remember they said he's never going to talk. He's probably never going to walk. That was when he was 2. My son is 16 years old. He is the president of his school.
Stop.
He has his learner's permit. He is the most vibrant, amazing, as Ellen DeGeneres calls him, the chicken whisperer, because he always has a chicken under his arm. Let me tell you something. FAST affects each and every one of us.
Yes.
The thing that scares me the most, and I want you all to know this, kids with FAST, 46, think about that. That's the life expectancy. I couldn't imagine my baby leaving me at 46. And so my husband and I decided to do something different compared to most people. We bought a farm. We got farm animals. We feed them the best and the human raws of the ground. Because that's what we need to do. Yes. But I didn't know this. I mean, no. I just learned this, by the way, Ty.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I'm proud of him. I'm so proud of him. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of Reece. I'm so proud of y'all. Like,
I'm proud of Makai. I'm proud of Makai.
I'm proud of you.
Makai is, wow. Makai says to me, by the way, Makai's already visited college. By the way, thank you, Lynn University, for taking him and visiting him and accepting him.
Yeah.
He's a junior in high school. My honor student who, yes, and I will tell you all, because I've gotten these emails all the time. Does he go to a regular public school? No. He goes to a school that specializes for kids with fetal alcohol syndrome. Good. And people say to me, well, you can afford that. No, by the way, let me tell you something. My husband and I, we live from paycheck to paycheck. So stop thinking that just because I have a book out and a movie, that we are these rich white people who raise these black kids. No, stop it. Mm-hmm. We live like everyone else, paycheck to paycheck. Mm-hmm. What I did do, I found out every opportunity in my county. Yes. Every opportunity. Yes. That's the problem we have. There are so many opportunities. You got to make the effort to find them.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I think it's sometimes easier for people to assume that if they can't, nobody else can. And if somebody else can, that there must be a nefarious reason behind it. And we must find that rather than look at ourselves and why we aren't doing the same thing, why we aren't. And I'm not saying that everybody can be Makai. Not everybody can be you. Not everybody can be me. But what I am saying is it's ridiculous that sometimes people want to cut down what they aren't, just because they don't want to try, just because they don't want to do, just because they don't want to be. I mean, you talk about how you attract hate mail. And I think that must be because you are doing the absolute most, because that is exactly how you attract hate, by bothering people's demons,
Yeah. And by the way, I think they really think that it bothered me.
Oh, right? Girl, we did not grow up with any support system. You think I need validation now? Are you kidding me?
You and I grew up. It's like,
oh my God, I would leave our house.
You and I both know what it's like. It's like, are you kidding me? It's like,
I think they think that because they needed that kind of validation. But like for people like us, are you kidding me? I'm good.
I am totally good.
Oh my God,
I am the youngest of 10 kids.
Yes.
The youngest of 10 kids.
Yes.
My mother and father, we lived in an average shelter in Maryland, Virginia, and DC.
Yes.
I chose the high road compared to where my brothers and sisters who are behind bars and they're gone, and my heart breaks for them, and teenage pregnancy, incarceration.
Yes.
Your hate mail does not affect me. My steel is strong.
Right? You think you can hurt me? Do you know what I say to myself? Are you kidding me?
Yeah. And you know this as well as I do. People are just like, oh, you don't know what it's like. We don't know what it's like.
I know. Yeah.
You know what it's like? Let me tell you something. I'll never forget this story. And it breaks my heart to say this. A teenage boy living in a foster home. And I was taken to a respite place. Respite. Which, by the way, I don't give a crap what you all think. This is human, total wrong.
Yes.
I sat there in a respite home for a week. Stranger. Didn't know these people. That Sunday I was picked up. I was put in the back seat of the home that I had been living in for years, by the way. And I listened to the kids talk about their trip at Disney World. We went home, and I wasn't supposed to be affected. That moment in my life as I hear kids all over our country talk about this. Respite is not right. It is absolutely abuse. Mentally, to a child, it is trauma.
Yes.
If you cannot take me on your vacation, if you can't take me to the beach with you, If you cannot put my picture on your mantle, don't take me.
Yes.
Don't take me. And courts, if you don't allow it, then change your freaking laws.
Yes.
Because a child should never be picked up from a stranger's house and hear about how the family they've lived with, by the way, 4 years I lived there.
Yes.
Because a court doesn't allow me to leave 50 miles from a place, and I have to hear about the joy that I will never experience. See, I'll never be 14 again.
No.
I'll never be 15 again. I'll never be 16 and see that beach trip again. You stole that from me. You stole it from me. All because of a choice that someone else made. I didn't make that choice.
No.
Why are you punishing me?
Why do you think, and I think this is a good question for you too, because I get this question a lot. This is one of like my frequently asked questions. Why do you think when people look at someone like you or look at someone like me, they have to assume that we were in good homes?
We're white. We're white. I mean, let's be honest.
No,
I
white. Agree.
We're white. We're white.
Mm-hmm.
I have 4 kids of color.
Mm-hmm.
You and I, they think that, oh, we made it. You're as successful as I am because we're white. When are you going to ask me where I got my grit? When are you going to ask me the fact that you don't know that I actually lived my entire senior year of high school on the streets? When are you going to ask me about the fact before I was 30, I had 4 suicide attempts and had a drug addiction because of the system?
Because of the system.
When are you going to ask that? You're not, because I'm white. I'm white. My skin color fades in with all of you. When were you going to understand that the majority of kids in the system look like me?
Yes.
Look like me. You think I'm successful because I'm white.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm successful because I had the grit. The grit. And by the way, I'm the youngest of 10 kids. My brothers and sisters didn't have that grit. So don't you ever, who watches this and hears this, thinks because of the color of my skin makes it okay. And understand, 23% of the population of the United States is Black.
Yes.
22% of the population of foster care is Black.
That's right. We are overrepresented. People of color are overrepresented in foster care.
Thank you.
Right.
But you and I, they think we did it because of our skin color. We didn't do that. Di, you know as well as I do. I mean, I'm the first one to say it, and I wrote about it in my book, in my memoir, which is coming out a movie. I've had drug addiction. I've had 4 suicide attempts. Kids in the system, we suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder twice the rate as our combat veterans coming back from the front line. I felt that.
Yes.
Don't you ever look at me and say because I'm white that I made it. I made it because I refuse to allow you to adjust me from the status quo because you put the F word in front of my name.
Mm-hmm.
And Di, that's the reason I think vocabulary is the most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ever call me a foster child. Don't ever call me a former foster child. I was a child that was experiencing foster care, a system that you built.
Yes.
A system that they built, a system that they have failed for 50 years. I was a child.
Yes.
A child like you.
Did you have the experience, and I was discussing this the other day with Sherelle, did you have the experience where both you were expected that you survived because of your skin color or but you did well because of your education or whatever, but also whenever somebody would find out you had experienced foster care, that suddenly they felt like they needed to double check your work, or suddenly they felt like you weren't who they thought you were, or suddenly they felt like they needed to treat you differently and you weren't one of them anymore? We were having that discussion that it was very ironic that you could both be, you know, privileged in
No,
one.
I lied. I lied. I lied. And I'm very honest about that. I was honest about it on every TV show, on CNN, The Today Show, The View. I lied. I never told anyone because I knew how you would judge me. I knew that you would judge me because of the fact I do not know the difference between there, and there. I knew you would judge me because of the fact that you chose to put the F word in front of my name. You would put me in a category. I lied.
Mm-hmm.
I write about it vividly and I'm honest about it. I faked my resume. I became a banker on a fake resume. I grew the ladder of corporate on a fake resume. And then it broke. It broke. I couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't take the lies. And I finally broke down and I told. You know, the sad part is I tell my kids, don't ever be ashamed of where you came from. Because I was ashamed for so many years. I had 4 suicide attempts. I write about it vividly in my memoir. My 4th suicide attempt in Northern Virginia, I'll never forget it. I was successful in my business. I couldn't deal with the fact of the guilt of who I was and where I came from because I was worried about what you thought about me. And I woke up in the hospital, stomach pumped, too many pills that I'd taken. And I said, this is just not the way it's supposed to go. I left the hospital a couple of days later. I remember going back to my apartment. I couldn't even believe I even had an apartment because in 1986, I was still living on the streets. I remember I went to the grave to my parents' house in Virginia. I hadn't been there since I was 12 years old. I remember walking into the funeral home, giving them their name and asking where they were buried. I remember they told me where to go. I remember it took me over an hour to find my parents' grave. I remember when I found my mother's grave, there was a little silver strip with a number on it. I remember falling to my knees. I remember at that moment saying to my mother, I forgive you. I forgive you for allowing my father to put cigarettes out on me. I forgive you for every rape that happened. I forgive you for every abuse that my brothers and sisters. I forgive you. I looked at my father's grave and I said, you will never control me. I stood up at that moment and I'll never forget it. And I looked at both of them as they lie there in a box. And I said, you did not break me. You did not break me. And I walked away. And I became one of the most successful bankers in the United States. And the reason why? I took the power back. See, you have to understand, forgiveness is not about them. but it's about what we take. What we take. And I took it at that moment and realized that, yes, I deserved to be here. I deserve to make tomorrow better than it was today. Yeah, that was the moment. That was the moment that I decided, so what? You want to call me a kid in foster care? That's fine. Use your right vocabulary. You want to realize that I don't know the difference between there, and there? That is exactly fine, because half the people in this Constitution don't even know that. But what I knew, I deserved to be here.
And it sounds like you knew in that moment that the shame wasn't yours, right?
No, it wasn't mine. It wasn't mine. Again, it's like I say to kids all the time, all over the country and now all over the world. You're in the system because of a choice someone else made. Understand that. Listen to everyone who's listening to this show, watching it. Listen, there is no such thing as a bad child.
No.
Seriously.
No
such thing as a bad child. It's a child that needs to be redirected.
Yes.
Redirected.
Supported, loved. Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Let me tell you, my husband and I, we had our 5th child arrive in 2019. Oh my God. A story beyond stories. I literally I have a movie coming out right now, and I talk about this should be the only movie. I'm literally giving a talk, and a young boy walks up to me and he asked me to sign his book. And I signed my book, and the next thing you know, 3 months later, he moves in, and now legally he is my son.
Stop.
He was
wow.
He was 18 years old when he walked up to me that day. And let me tell you the difference. Number one, we all have an opportunity to build the foundation that was meant for us to build, and that is the foundation of making a children's life better.
Yes.
This young boy looked at me, and I said to him that day, I will never forget it. Call me.
Yes.
I went home that night. I told my husband, I told my 4 kids. Little would I know that 3 months later, I looked at that boy and I said, how about coming home? Little would I know that he is now 22 and we just signed his adoption papers. Why? That is my son. That is my son. He is the absolute grounding of what I say every day. By the way, your listeners and viewers, you all cannot foster, and I get it. You all cannot adopt like we have been able to do. I get it. You all cannot donate because things are so tight within our society. We can barely put bread on our table. Yes. I get it. But the one thing I will tell you that each and every one of you can do, we all have the same thing in common, whether you're white, black, straight, gay, no matter what your denomination is and your religion, you all have the same thing. And that is your time. Your time, my friends. Donate it. Donate it. Go to a group home. Play some basketball. Teach a kid how to spell the word color. Show the fact that we as a society know why we were built, why our forefathers taught each and every one of us to support each other. Because foster care is not the answer.
Yes. I don't know if you get this question a lot, but I want to ask you anyway, because as you know, I'm part of the queer community.
I didn't know that, by the way.
Yes, well, now you do. It's right there. Yes. What role?
I did. I read your book.
I know. I know you're messing with me. I like that you picked up on that already between us. So what I'd like to know is sort of if any at all, what role you feel like being a member of the queer community played in your ability to survive, if any. It's okay if it's none, but I had a very different experience. I had a lot of people.
This is the thing that I probably get more dislike emails as a public figure and someone who's been where I'm at today. I probably get more dislike emails about this. My name is Rob Scheer. I am the father of 5 amazing kids. Alex, he's 22. Amaya, she's 19. Makai, he's 16. Grayson, he's 16. Tristan, he is 14. And my stay-at-home husband, Reece, is the most amazing person.
Yes.
That is what defines me. If you feel that I need to put a label on all of that, that is your choice.
Mm-hmm.
I am not ever, ever going to sit here and make my cause an LGBTQ cause.
Of course.
My cause is about children in the system. Am I heartbroken? The number of children that are LGBTQ, you better believe it.
Yes.
Am I heartbroken that we do not feel the pathway of our children that are different than the way you want the status norm to be? I'm heartbroken. But I will never, ever be the spokesperson of kids on one side or another. And I get more hate from that because they feel that as a gay man, I should stand up and scream and shout. Let me tell you, I should stand up and scream and shout for every child.
For children, yeah.
Every child.
Of course.
And was it hard for my husband and I? Hell yes, it was hard for us.
Yes.
But you know, I made a post just yesterday. I made a post on my social media. If you want to follow me, Rob_Scheer on Instagram. And I made a post and I said, it's so, and this was my post. I said, it's so unbelievable how we put each other in boxes. I was like, I have 4 boys and 1 daughter. None of my kids like the theater. None of my kids like fashion. But what all of my kids like, which is what I like, is football. But my husband, by the way, who's an interior designer and one of the most amazing interior designer there is, you should come and see our house.
I would love to. Obviously, yes.
My husband he didn't know anything about sports.
I don't know anything about sports.
He thought that we were just going to be like having these kids and having gay, and my husband, I mean, which by the way is a saint. My husband Reece I am who I am today because of my husband. Yes. My husband has learned to know what a tackle, a right hand. I mean, he's learned how to know all that. Why? Because that's what our boys do.
Yes.
What our boys. And so I have to tell people all the time, LGBTQ kids, I'm here for you.
Yes.
I'm here for you.
I am also here for you.
But also know, I'm here for every other child.
That's right. We're here for all the kids.
Yeah. And it sickens my heart, you know, the fact that how we treat our kid. First of all, it doesn't matter. These are our they're not your children, by the way, Di. These are not your kids. They're not my kids. These are our kids.
Our kids.
How dare we as a society don't understand when you invest in a child, you invest in your future. They are our leaders of tomorrow. I don't give a rat's ass. Excuse my language. I apologize if that's not allowed on your show.
I'm from New England. Please continue.
I don't care. It just saddens my heart. You know, saddens my heart that someone actually, it's awful.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I often devastated by how overrepresented queer kids are in the foster care system as well.
We don't talk about them.
We don't talk about them.
Because again, when are you going to decide, and when not, and maybe you've already decided this, but when are all the other nonprofits who are sucking money up? And by the way, I've seen it, you've seen it, we both know who they are.
Sure do.
When are they going to stop making money on the backs of children? Stop. If you can pay an executive assistant $136,000 a year as a nonprofit, could you imagine the difference you could make in a child's life with that money?
Yes.
And by the way, I can answer my own damn emails, and I can return my own damn calls, and I can be more than happy to I saw a nonprofit literally post that they were looking for an executive assistant for the founder and CEO, $136,000 a year salary.
What does the founder and CEO make?
I saw it over $370,000. How dare we?
How dare we indeed?
How dare we?
How dare we indeed?
How dare we die? I mean, seriously. I
mean,
this is the kind of
I
stuff.
agree.
I mean, my organization, we're 96% volunteer ran. How dare we? How dare we take government money, build this kind of staff, do not even change the pendulum of our society,
and then pat ourselves on the back,
and then say, "Oh, we're making changes. We're having meetings. Meetings for what? Meetings for what? You're going to take the meetings out of the 3 girls that I just met right out of Mobile, Alabama, who are sleeping in an office? What are you doing? What are you doing? Are you changing the statistics? The fact that 80% of all kids who are human trafficked are from foster care?
That's right.
And the reason that is happening is because they are sleeping in offices. And you need $136,000 a year assistant? What kind of person are you? And by the way, I don't care if you grew up in this system. I don't care if you have life experience like I have. You forgot it.
You forgot it, yeah.
You forgot it.
Yep.
Preach to the word. I want that word to be known. I want people to know it. I want people to say it. Stop. Stop. If the needle is not moving, you're doing nothing. And by the way, I get the most hate emails probably you could have imagined. I mean, I should share some of the emails I get. People hate me. And you know what?
Text me.
I say to them all the time, you don't change my 1040. I don't care. When my children look at me, they love their father.
They love their father.
When my kids look at me and they say, yep, he did it again. I don't care what you think. I don't care. I'm not sucking up people's money to make my life better. I want people's money to make children's lives better. That's what we all should be doing.
That's what we all should be doing. Oh,
what the hell are we doing? You're the first person on any show I've ever done. People don't realize 100% of my memoir, my husband and I, 100% of my memoir goes to comfort cases.
Good for
100%.
you. Good for y'all. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
You're an example to live by.
Moving the needle.
Good. What's next for you?
Oh my God, what's next for me?
What's next for you?
I love you. So in November, I hope you all tune in. We have an amazing show with the Harlem Globetrotters coming out in November, giving back with the Harlem Globetrotters. I have an amazing movie that is coming out, inspired by our book. I have another movie coming out that I'm a executive producer for about adoption. I also have, which I think is the most amazing thing, is the fact is I'm going to start calling you nonprofits out. Sorry to say it.
No.
Start calling you out. I see it. if you do not know an organization's 990s, and listen up. You want to play in this sandbox? Look at a 990. It's public record. If you do not see that money going to where it should be going to, which is our children, do not donate. If you see the 990 going to a place that you know that is not supposed to be there, $135,000 executive assistant, what the hell are we talking about? You need to shout out. Enough is enough. This 56-year-old man, and I don't care if you're 27, you have got to be there for our children.
Yes.
Because at $136,000 a year, I guarantee you, I could put 7 kids through college.
Yep.
So, Di, you're the best.
Damn right. You're the best. How do people follow you and support you and support your organization?
I love you for that. So, comfortcases.org, comfortcases.org. You can visit. Follow me. I hope you all follow me. Rob_Scheer, Instagram, Facebook, on, X, I think it's called, Twitter. I will tell you, I'm not the most liked person, but you know what? I'm the most honest person. And Di will tell you, I read her book. I love her. She's going to be on my podcast, Foster Change.
Yes.
By the way, Di, it just got voted yesterday the number 1 podcast in foster care for the 3rd year in a row. Yep. Thank you. I love this whole clapping thing. I don't know where you got that from, but I love that whole thing.
You don't know where I got it. I'll get past that. Anyway.
We'll have to talk about that. But, listen up, everybody. We all have an opportunity. This is it. And I'm serious. We all have an opportunity. And I always say this, be the change. Be the change. Be the change. The first thing you can do, change your vocabulary. Change your vocabulary. I get this fight all the time. Children are not foster children. They're not. They're children who are experiencing foster care.
Yes.
Understand that. They're children. When you say children, your heart smiles. When you say foster children, you say, what did they do wrong?
Yes.
They did nothing wrong. Nothing. They are there because of a choice someone else made.
Yes.
Educate yourself.
And accept it on their behalf, right?
Thank you. Exactly.
Yes.
So listen, you were amazing.
I'm going to wrap you up here. I love you more. Listen, I'd like to thank my amazing guest, Rob, for joining me here today and all of his work making a path for those who come after him to climb the ladder out of the system and into healing. As we wrap our 4th Indomitable conversation session, I want to express my heartfelt gratitude for each one of you for joining us today. Your presence has made this conversation truly impactful. Right here on Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern, I'll be interviewing my dear friend Tiana Charles, who is also former foster care youth. She is a licensed, she's a licensed clinical social worker who has dedicated the last 13 years to helping individuals living with mental health challenges, and she is currently in the process of earning her doctorate in social work. Tiana is the owner of Calliope's Corner, which aims to help Black and Brown people be successful at breaking generational curses related to their mental health, financial wellness, and education. I cannot wait to chat with her and have her answer your questions. And of course, if you have not already, consider getting a copy of Indomitable, a foster care story from your favorite bookstore to delve deeper into the stories that have shaped this series and contribute to our collective goal of raising awareness to improve the foster care system. Thank you again for my new friend, Rob Scheer, for his amazing work, and to all of y'all for your continued dedication to our cause. I look forward to having y'all back for the next Indomitable conversation this Monday. And remember, go ahead.
1 second.
Yes.
Please tune in to Fostering Change because my amazing friend Di is going to be on. We are promoting her book. Oh my gosh. I have to say this, and I know she wanted to cut us off because we're so running over time.
No, you can talk all day.
And by the way, I get tons of books. And this book I read, and even I said to my producer, oh my gosh, are you giving me another book? I started reading this book on a plane. I could not put it down. Okay. So I'm telling you, it's gonna be on my link. Hey,
I will send you all the copies. Give them out to all your friends. All right. I'm talking to Tiana on Monday. Thank you for everything. Thank you, Rob. Thank you so, so much. I'm so grateful to you. And remember, together, we are truly indomitable. Take care, y'all.
Take care, everybody.